Hi, fourth grade. Happy Monday. Happy 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. Um, those of you that like Star Wars will get that one. All right. Well, can you believe that we're on week 5 of your packets? And this is actually week 7 of the last time I saw you was 7 weeks ago. That just seems nutty. But anyways, I thought I would create an anchor chart. You know, Mrs. Price, she loves anchor charts, so that you could visually have something to look at while you are working through your line plots this week. That's all we gave you this week. Were just some worksheets around line plots. And this should be really, really simple this week. And the reason I say that is because you guys have been doing some pretty advanced fractions the last few weeks. And everything that you've been working on in fractions should really, really help you with this. And it should be a piece of cake. So let's talk about line plots for a minute. Line plots, and the anchor chart tells you, line plots show how frequently something occurs by displaying data on a number line. So a line plot is essentially a number line, right? You can see that right here. It's a number line. And think about how hard you guys have been working on plotting those fractions on your number lines. You've been using number lines to compare to a benchmark fraction. You've been using number lines just to compare your fractions and partition. I mean, you have been using number lines a lot in these last few weeks. So this really should be pretty simple. But line plots are great. It's not just a number line. It's a number line that's actually showing us data. And it's showing us data that's occurring, you know, like maybe this is occurring this many times and this over here is occurring this many times. And it always has a key, and I kind of gave you some bullet points over here. It has a key. Now remember, I taught you this in 2nd grade. A key is like, what do these X's stand for, right? If I were to look at this without a key, I would have no idea what I was looking at. I would just see a bunch of different X's above fractions and maybe a whole number, and it wouldn't really tell me anything. But I know by looking at my key right here that each X represents one recipe that uses that amount of sugar. That's their key, okay? And then it also has a label, and I actually forgot to put that over here on your bullet points, but it has a label, right? So the label for this line plot is cups of sugar in recipes, right? So this represents what the numbers or labels are showing. So right here, if we look at 1/4, well, we know that apparently there is a recipe out there that uses 1/4 of a cup of sugar, right? And apparently there are 2 of those. There is a recipe out there that uses a 1/2 cup of sugar, and there are 4 of those, right? Because each X represents one recipe. Okay? And then you can just kind of see you have 3 fractions, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and then you have a whole number. So that would be 1 cup, right? And apparently there's only one recipe that calls for 1 cup of sugar. Then you have mixed numbers, right? Your mixed fractions. You have 1 whole and a 1/4. So 1 1/4 cups of sugar are seen in 2 recipes. 1 1/2 cups of sugar are seen in 3 recipes, and then 1 3/4 cup of sugar is seen in 1 recipe. So that's how you would read this line plot. Now, I told you over here that in 4th grade, line plots are just a tiny bit different. In 2nd grade, there's just whole numbers. But in 4th grade, we're starting to add fractions because you guys have been working on fractions so much, okay? And yeah, again, it's just, you can just see how frequently recipes are using these amounts of sugar in them. So that's kind of interesting, right? And you could use a line plot for anything. It could be anything. It could be how many syllables are in our names. It could be how many of us like chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream, or strawberry ice cream. It can be anything. In this case, it was just cups of sugar in recipes since we're dealing with fractions. Okay, so I'm going to make a separate video going over your first worksheet with line plots, and I'll see you in that video. Have a great week, guys.